Jeremy from Jeremy.net. And first off, I apologize because I was experimenting with my camera angles, and there's a couple of points in this video where my big old dome is like right in the middle of the camera. And, looking at it now, I'm like, wow, I really need to just have the camera better positioned. I was experimenting, trying to get you more of a view of literally what it looks like through my eyes looking at the piece. And when my head isn't in the way, you get that effect. Anyway, on to the topic, or what I wanted to talk about with this video. And the challenge of doing videos about this particular piece I'm making is that I recorded these videos months ago. This piece that I'm drawing here is still not done yet, and I've since then shot photo reference, and I need to come back and redraw the layout again based on photo reference. And I like to keep the videos positive and inspirational, and it's hard to find inspirational things to say about a piece that you know isn't coming out well, even especially when you're watching yourself and you know that, like, I know how the drawing that comes after this is going to turn out, and I know that I wasn't happy with that. But the positive part, the thing that I think that is inspirational, is that now, even as I'm going back and watching this, I can see things in this layout that I do like. There's even a point where I say, wait a minute, could I possibly go back and salvage this some way and still use this layout for the final piece? And no, because I know that the final drawing that came from it, this drawing, while it's not as bad as I remember it, it doesn't resolve the issues that I think made the final drawing not come out well, and what stopped me from moving on to a digital painting on top of it. But the fact that I'm looking at this, and even for all the flaws that I know do eventually come out of it and that are laying there, that there's things about it that I do like. I do feel like the composition is strong. And even though I only sort of roughly lay, the background details that I lay in are very flat. They're two-dimensional in terms of the brick pattern, the arch of the hearth behind the blacksmith, the stone pebbles that I draw into the walls. All of those things, I actually like that. I like the general composition. It's really the small details where this piece dies for me. It's really just a matter of things where I've got all of the parts that should make up a living, breathing piece, but it doesn't fly. It doesn't come to life. It's like putting Frankenstein together, and yet it doesn't... When you electrocute it, nothing happens. It just lays there. So that's one of the reasons, well, that is the reason why I'm continually going back and working on this piece, and why months later it's still not done. But I've been thinking about the way that some of the old masters, like when I was reading a book, or listening to the audiobook of The Agony and the Ecstasy, which is an audiobook on the life of Michelangelo, one of the things that he describes in the book is that basically he sees the piece in his mind. Eventually the marble kind of speaks to him, and once he sees the piece, all he does is he just carves away everything that isn't the piece. It's really simple. He just removes what isn't the final thing, and what's left is the thing. And I'm trying to find a way to apply that to the drawing. Because when I'm looking at this piece now, there's things in here that I see that are part of the final piece. There are things that I see that are there. And fortunately, because I'm not carving in Carrara marble, it's not expensive for me to just grab another piece of layout paper and another piece. And I could just put pieces on top and on top of this and keep drawing through and refining those layers. Now, in my case, I feel like what I need to do is go back and I've already done watercolor studies, and I've got a color scheme that I like, but I don't feel like the piece is singing tonally the way I want it to. So I'm going to go back and do tonal studies, but also I want to go back and do photo reference. Now, I've already done a photo shoot of me in the pose of this character with some props, but also do just some individual pieces, like shots of hands in the positions that I want, different positions holding the hammer, trying things out and then putting them together piecemeal. Because I've actually seen that Norman Rockwell does it that way in some pieces, where when he sits down to do his final, he's got his big picture of photo reference, but then along the side he's got little bits and pieces of details, and I can use those to get me closer to the final that lays in the future. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy these videos, please like and share them. You can sign up for my weekly newsletter to get a free digital comic at newsletter.jeremy.net. That's newsletter.gerimi.net. Also, visit my main website, jeremy.net, where you can buy my comic books, art prints, and more. There's also links to my Instagram, Twitter, and other social media accounts. That's it for now. Go be creative.